Om. Om. गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। ॐ श्रीकृष्ण परमात्मने नमः। अथ श्रीमद्भगवद्गीता अष्टादशोऽध्यायः मोक्षसंन्यासयोगः। So yesterday we were looking at the Bheda Pratyaya, right? What is Bheda Pratyaya? Bheda Buddhi. I will quickly repeat. I think this was done, if I am not mistaken. Sumaji must have read till. Anyone remember? But I will quickly browse through this since it's very important. We did not do Manana. So I'll quickly once again read to recall the what is Bheda Pratyaya. Shankara enumerates the possible divisions that may be involved in an action. In any action, there is the action itself, Kriya, the things connected to the action, Karaka, and the result of the action, Phala. The action is the basis for all the Karakas. If you ask who does the action, that gives the first Karaka, the agent. What does he do? That tells us the second Karaka. And if we ask how he does it, that gives us the third. For what purpose he does it gives us another, the fourth. And from where he does the action gives us the fifth. Finally, where the action was done gives us the seventh. The sixth relationship is not a karaka because it is not involved in the action itself. It is a nominal connection and therefore Shankara mentions it separately as the result phala. When all these are seen as separate, it is called Bheda Buddhi. The one who does the action must be separate from what he does, why and how he does it, when and where he does it. The result also is separate. Let us look at this terms of one ritual, the Jyotistoma. By whom is it performed? The one who is desirous of heaven, Swarga Kamena. Not as in the mantra we saw by Brahman, Brahmana. It is done by the one who thinks I am an agent, Karta, and wants to achieve the result, Karma Phala, which is heaven, Swarga. This is called Bheda Buddhi. If you know that you are Brahman doing this action, there is no problem. You enjoy doing it. Here, however, It is done by the one who has the notion that Atma is the doer. Then, what is offered? The offering in the ritual is ghee, samit, etc. Ghee is not Brahman there, but something separate from the one who offers. Where does he offer the ghee? Into the fire, Agnau. But Agni is not Brahman for him. It is other than himself. What is offered? Huta. The ghee is different. The ladle, arpana, by which it is offered, is different. And those for whom it is offered, Agni, Surya, and Prajapati, are all different entities. None of these is looked upon as Brahman. That is called Veda Buddhi. Ignorance is the cause of this Veda Buddhi. What is the reason for this Veda Buddhi? It is only due to ignorance. If all of them are one thing alone, Brahman, then ignorance of that Brahman creates all the duality. Due to this ignorance, the self Atma is taken as the agent, Karta, and everything else becomes different. This is my action, I am the agent, I will do this action for that result. Even if you disown the karma, the law will see that you get the result. It is all due to ignorance and ignorance born notions, which are also called ignorance, avidya. Shankara uses avidya in both senses. When did this ignorance of Brahman start? It has no beginning. It is anadikala pravritta. However, it does have an end. What brings this ignorance to an end? The knowledge of the self, Atmajnana. Why? Because it removes the notion of difference, the Bheda Buddhi, which is nothing but ignorance of non-duality. Knowledge of the self is capable of destroying the idea that I am the doer, this is my karma, this is the purpose for which I am performing this action, etc. In all these notions, the result is different from the agent and the action. The agent is different from the action, and so on. This notion of difference, Bheda Buddhi, is called ignorance, avidya, is removed by the knowledge of Atma. What is that knowledge? Jnana. It is the firm knowledge that I am this pure, non dual consciousness alone. I am not an agent. I am free from any action and one for whom there is no result of an action. When I do not enjoy the result, where is the question of my doing anything? I am not the enjoyer, nor do I perform action at any time. And again, there is nothing whatsoever that is separate from me. When there is no one else except me, for whose sake or for what sake will I do anything? Which heaven will I go to when that heaven is myself? How will I make offerings to Agni and Indra when Indra is myself and Agni is also myself? Other than myself, there is nobody. As this kind of knowledge for which the object is Atma is born, ignorance, which is in the form of a notion of difference, is destroyed. It is this notion of duality that is the cause for the pursuit of karma. From this, it is clear that karma cannot be the cause for moksha. Removal of the notion of difference. Bheda Buddhi is moksha. And that Bheda Buddhi will not go unless I remove avidya. Once the Bheda Buddhi goes, action, etc. is not possible. That means that if I do an action, I have this notion of difference, Bheda Buddhi. And as long as this notion exists, ignorance, avidya, is there. As long as avidya exists, moksha cannot be there. And I will continue to be a doer, karta, different from everybody else, and thus an individual jiva. Therefore, where is the role of action here? If we are talking of moksha, karma does not have any place at all. In the wake of knowledge, the cause of karma, which is the Bhed Buddhi that is born of avidya, goes away. When that goes away, action is not there. In spite of this, another question is raised. Suppose I perform an action, can it remove my notion of difference, Bhed Buddhi? No. Action is the product of Bhed Buddhi, and the product cannot remove the cause because it is not opposed to it, Virodhi. Karma, therefore, is not opposed to avidya because it is its product. As a clay pot is not inimical to the clay because it is a product of the clay. If the pot is inimical to the clay, when the pot appears, the clay will disappear. Any product being independent upon its cause is mithya and is not inimical to that cause. So too, karma cannot be opposed to avidya because avidya is the cause for the very karma. The karma that we do, like Agnihotra, etc., is not opposed to avidya, being a product of avidya, which is the notion of difference, Bheda Buddhi. What removes the buddhi? Knowledge of the self, Atma Jnana. It is enough for moksha. We do not require anything else. Karma is not a means, sadhana for moksha. Karma yoga, however, is an entirely different thing. It is the means which produces the mind necessary for knowledge. But karma, as such, does not produce knowledge. The meaning of the word tu in his opening statement in this part of the Bhashya, Shankara says, however, self-knowledge alone has the status of being the cause of moksha. Now he is going to comment on his use of the word, however, to here. This word is meant to exclude the two other views. Tu shabdah pakshadvaya व्यावृत्त्यर्थो न केवलेभ्यः कर्मभ्यो न च ज्ञानकर्मभ्यां समुचिताभ्यां निःश्रेयसप्रां सप्राप्तिः इति पक्षद्वयं निवर्तयति. Initially, Shankara had presented three possibilities as the means for moksha: knowledge alone, karma alone, and the combination of knowledge and karma, ज्ञान कर्म समुच्चय samuchaya. By using the word tu in his statement that knowledge alone is the means for moksha, he now excludes the other two possibilities. Neither the combination of knowledge and karma nor pure karma will produce moksha. On the other hand, two, pure knowledge is the means for and is in fact moksha. Among the three, one alone is the means for moksha. That the other two are not is indicated by two. How they are not, he goes on to explain. Moksha being nitya is not produced. Moksha is not something that is produced, it is akarya. Akaryatvat cha nishreyasasya karma sadhanatvanupapattihi नहि नित्यं वस्तु कर्मणा ज्ञानेन वा क्रियते. That being so, it is not tenable to say that karma is the means for moksha. Why? Something that is outside the scope of time or eternal, nitya, cannot be produced either by karma or by knowledge. And moksha must necessarily be eternal, nitya. If it is not what we are defining as moksha. For whom is this moksha that we are talking about? It is for the Atma, the individual. Only if that Atma is Nitya can there be moksha. And in that case, knowledge of the Nitya Atma alone is moksha. That is why Nitya Moksha is identical with the Atma. Being Nitya, it is not created by karma or anything else because it is already existent. What is eternal, Nitya, is not created. Now the Purva Pakshi statement follows. If moksha is uncaused, then knowledge is also useless and objection. Now it has just been said that this uncreated moksha cannot be produced either by karma or by knowledge. Based on that, a question is raised. If moksha cannot be produced by knowledge, how is knowledge a means for moksha? Is it not all useless? Kevalam jnanamapi anarthakarhi. If knowledge is the means for moksha, moksha is created by knowledge. But if moksha is not created, neither knowledge nor anything else can be the means for it. All these arguments are very close arguments. So please follow them carefully. Since moksha is nitya, it is not created either by karma or by knowledge. Once karma is dismissed on the basis that moksha is not created, knowledge also has to be dismissed in the same fashion. Then knowledge as a means for moksha is useless, and the statement that knowledge is the only means for moksha has no validity. Knowledge removes ignorance and leads to moksha. Shankara responds, न अविद्या निवर्तक न अविद्या निवर्तकत्वे सति दृष्टकैवल्य फलावसानत्वात्. That is from his Bhashya. No, we do not say that moksha is produced by knowledge. It only removes the cause for bondage, ignorance. When ignorance is removed, the visible result is moksha. And in this way, knowledge seemingly produces moksha. Knowledge has the status of removing the ignorance and also has its end in the immediate result of moksha. It is not a result that is not immediately seen, a drishta phala like heaven. Once ignorance is removed by knowledge, there is moksha. In fact, moksha is in the form of this knowledge. Thus, removal of ignorance alone is called moksha. This can be understood with an illustration. The sun is always in the form of light, but now, though seen, it is not properly seen by you because of the clouds. The clouds themselves are illumined by the sun alone, but now you see only the clouds and not the sun. That is, its bright nature is not appreciated. Then a breeze blows and drives away the clouds, and now the sun shines bright. What has the breeze to do with the sun getting back its brightness? Its brightness is not because of the breeze. You cannot say that the breeze gave the sun its brightness. At the same time, the breeze does a job of removing the clouds covering the brightness of the sun and enables you to appreciate it. So too, knowledge also does not produce moksha, it only removes the ignorance. That is the cause for bondage. Freedom is always from bondage, and here it is the bondage created by ignorance, avidya. Once knowledge removes the avidya, it goes away, and what remains is the immediate result of moksha. The real nature of the self is known right away, not later. Previously, there was unknowingness, that is the status of being ignorant. For whom it is Atma that is viewed from the standpoint of being ignorant. Ignorance is not the property of Atma, but for the time being, Shamyata, ignorance is not the property of Atma, but for the time being, as long as one is ignorant, ignorance is conceived of Kalpita or Atma. This ignorance is also opposed, Virodhi, to knowledge. And knowledge, Vritti Jnana, is opposed to ignorance. Once a person has knowledge, that knowledge producing vritti, having removed the ignorance, goes away. And there is no longer any possibility of ignorance about the Atma. Atma is already eternally free, Nitya Mukta. Knowledge does not produce moksha, it merely removes the cause for bondage. If this is properly understood, we can say that knowledge becomes the means for moksha. It does not produce moksha because moksha is always an existent fact, nitya being the essential nature of Atma. But we have to pursue knowledge because that alone removes the avidya. That is why we say that moksha is by knowledge alone. Jnanena eva moksha. Why not by karma? Unlike karma, which will produce a result in time, knowledge gives immediate result in the form of removal of ignorance. When ignorance is removed, the immediate visible result is moksha. Once you see a crystal, for example, you do not require any logic to prove it is a crystal. Perceptually, it is clear. It is the same here. Even faith is not involved in this. It is established by the immediacy of the knowledge of the wise. Vidvat anubhavat siddhihi. Vidvat anubhavat siddhihi. We know that there is ignorance because of the notion I am the body, dehoham. As long as that notion is there, there is ignorance and there is bondage and separation. In the vision of the Shruti, this particular notion about the self is false, and the Shruti's function is to falsify this notion. This is possible because it is false. If it is not false, you cannot show it to be so. The delusion is replaced by knowledge, and that knowledge, Prama, is born of a means of knowledge, which is the Shruti. From that, we understand that Atma is a Karta, not an agent, a Bhukta, not an enjoyer, and a Samsari, not subject to a life of becoming. I repeat this sentence. From that, we understand that Atma is a karta, not an agent, a bhokta, not an enjoyer, and a samsari, not subject to a life of becoming. That recognition is the opponent, virodhi for ignorance, avidya, and by its removal, the bondage is removed. The ignorance is characterized here by Shankara as darkness, tamas. The knowledge is that which is capable of removing the darkness of ignorance. It has its end in the result of moksha or kaivalya, which is gained right away. अविद्यात् मुनिवर्तकस्य अविद्यातमोनिवर्तकस्य ज्ञानस्य दृष्टं कैवल्यफलावसानत्वम् अविद्यातमोनिवर्तकस्य ज्ञानस्य दृष्टं कैवल्यफलावसानत्वम्. So beautiful. The result of jnana is gained at the same place where the mistake was committed. Further, mistakes may be many, but knowledge and its result are one alone. Shankara gives an example here. A rope may be taken by different people for different things, as a snake, stick, streak of water, garland, etc. But for all of them, the rope is the Brahmasthala, the seat of mistake. Brahmasthala, not Brahma, Kshamyata, Brahma. I repeat, but for all of them, the rope is the Brahmasthala, the seat of mistake. When a torch is shown on the rope, all the delusions disappear and everyone sees it uniformly only as a rope. Thus, the Pradeepa Prakashaphala, the result of the light emanating from the torch dispelling the darkness, is Kaivalya Vasana. Kaivalya, Kaivalya Vasana. Vasana. Kindly correct me, it is a beautiful word, but hope I'm reading correctly. Kaivalya Vasana. So, Pradipa Prakasha Phala, the result of the light emanating from the torch, dispelling the darkness, is Kaivalya Vasana, ends in the rope alone. So too, even though the mistakes committed about the Atma may be many, Jnana, by removing Ajnana, removes all bondages and gives Kaivalya Vasana. Kaivalya Vasana. There is no need to combine karma with jnana. Should we do manana of this all, what we read so far? I think this all were repeated by me. Yesterday, Sumaji had already read this all. I believe here she had read. Should we do manana? Should we summarize or should I read only? I think it is a beautiful train of thoughts. We should continue reading. And in between, if you feel that there is some confusion, we can stop there. Right, Pramaraji? Should I continue reading?
Yes, please.
There is no need to combine karma with jnana. So far, Shankara has said that we have to understand that knowledge is enough for moksha. Since moksha is already established in that it is not different from the self, which is always free. Moksha, therefore, is nothing but the removal of ignorance, which is accomplished by knowledge. Since moksha is taken care of by the removal of ignorance, where is the necessity for karma? There is no necessity for karma at all. Now he illustrates with some examples how a combination of knowledge and karma is also not necessary. दृष्टार्थानां च छिदिक्रियाग्नि मन्थनादीनां व्यापृत कर्त्रादिकारकाणां द्वैधिभाव अग्निदर्शनादिफलात् अन्यफले कर्मान्तरे व्यापारानुपपत्तिः यथा तथा ज्ञाननिष्ठा क्रियायां दृष्टार्थायां व्यापृतस्य ज्ञात्रादिकारकस्य आत्मकैवल्यफलात् अन्यफले कर्मान्तरे प्रवृत्तिः अनुपपन्ना इति न ज्ञाननिष्ठा कर्मसहिता उपपद्यते. I read once again. दृष्टार्थानां च छिदिक्रियाग्निमन्थनादीनां व्यापृतकर्त्रादिकारकाणां द्वैधिभाव अग्निदर्शनादिफलात् अन्यफले कर्मान्तरे व्यापारानुपपत्तिः यथा तथा ज्ञाननिष्ठा क्रियायां दृष्टार्थायां व्यापृतस्य ज्ञात्रादिकारकस्य आत्मकैवल्यफलात् अन्यफले कर्मान्तरे प्रवृत्तिः अनुपपन्ना इति न ज्ञाननिष्ठा कर्मसहिता उपपद्यते. So I read once again to bring that train of thoughts back. There is no necessity for karma at all. Now he illustrates with some examples how a combination of knowledge and karma is also not necessary. Suppose you want to divide a log of wood into two pieces. What do? You perform the action of cutting the wood. This action of cutting is meant to produce the result of dividing the wood into two. Then suppose you want to produce fire without a match. What do? By the friction created by churning a wooden rod in a depression in a block of wood, a spark is produced. That is considered to be pure fire, and even today, this is the method used to produce fire for any Vedic ritual. These two examples are given to show actions that have a result that is accomplished right now. It is seen drishta, not something that will manifest later, adrishta like punya. Having a result which is going to be accomplished right now, it is going to be seen by you. It is not meant to produce a punya which you do not see, adrishta. These actions like cutting and churning involve an agent and various other factors like the means of doing it, the purpose for doing it, etc. The result is the wood being divided into two. Once the action is over, the result is also accomplished. Similarly, after the churning is done, the fire is seen. Not only is no further action necessary, no further action is possible for the same result. Also, these karmas have no scope in producing any other result. It is different if the result is unseen, adrishta. Since the result is not visible, we do not know if our action has been efficacious or not. For example, on a particular day, the sacred thread is removed and a new one is taken. At that time, we are supposed to chant the Gayatri Mantra 1008 times. Generally, we do another 200 or so because we know that our mind had wandered and we chanted mechanically. To make up for those omissions, we add another 100 or 200. Why? Because we have no way of knowing whether the chanting has been adequate to produce the desired result. But suppose we are to produce fire and churn two pieces of wood to achieve that. Once the fire is produced, what doubt is there? Where there is an immediate visible result, Drishtaphala, further action is not tenable. In the same way, freedom, the result of Jnana Nishtha, is not something that is to be accomplished later, but is seen. That is, it is immediate because Atma is already free. Here too, there is a knower, Jnata, the instrument of knowledge, Jnana, and something to be known, Gneya, involved in the various things undertaken to know, like Shravana, etc. Now, for this activity to know the Atma, what is the result? The result is the knowledge of the non-dual Atma, and because of that, no other result is possible, nor is any other karma possible once that result is accomplished. Therefore, Jnana Nishtha cannot be accomplished by karma. Knowledge is always as true as the object, and for that you require only a means of knowledge, pramana. Here, because I cannot objectify the Atma, the knower is exposed to the teaching, and the teaching reveals the nature of the knower as Brahman, the ear of the ear, Shrotrasya, Shrotram, the eye of the eye, Chakshusho, Chakshusha, Chakshusho, Chakshushas, Chakshusha, the mind of the mind, Manaso, Manaha. I repeat once again. Here, because I cannot objectify the Atma, the knower is exposed to the teaching, and the teaching reveals the nature of the knower as Brahman, the ear of the ear, Shrotrasya, Shrotram, the eye of the eye, Chakshushoshasya, Chakshushaha, the mind of the mind, Manaso, Manaha. You are the very nature of the seer, the hearer, the one who is not an agent, and the one who is a karta. After receiving that knowledge, is there something else I should get? Something else that I should do? For what purpose? Even in karma, we do not do further action once we have the result. So, how is it possible to think of knowledge followed by some karma to get that knowledge? I do Shravana, etc., in order to gain moksha, which is Jnana Nishtha. Once that is gained, why should I do karma? So beautiful. Though karma is not used, please let me know if you want me to repeat anything again. Though karma is not useful in gaining moksha, it is useful for gaining other results. And objection. This is again the Purva Pakshavadi. What kind of objection? I repeat, though karma is not useful in gaining moksha, it is useful for gaining other results. Accepting that knowledge and karma cannot be simultaneously combined for moksha, a Purva Pakshi, an opponent, now asks why they cannot be done consecutively like two different types of action. Suppose a man wants to go to heaven. He performs the appropriate karma, Agnihotra, etc. But at that time, he cannot eat. After the Agnihotra, he can eat. But the two actions cannot be done simultaneously by the same agent. The performance of Agnihotra, the ritual, the prayer is meant for going to heaven, and eating is meant for appeasing hunger. One action can be done now and the other later. Similarly, why can you not first gain knowledge, then afterwards do karma? Even though you cannot do them together, you can always do them consecutively. And also the act of eating. Bhuji Kriya is a laukik action and has only drishta phala and no adrishta phala, whereas Agnihotra has the adrishta phala of heaven. A person who wants both the results has to do both. A person who wants both the results has to do both. In this manner, the same person can accomplish two results, the seen result, moksha, and later the unseen result, heaven, swarga. He will get both the results. Knowledge will give the immediate result, drishtaphala, and karma will give the unseen result, adrishtaphala. The same person is not doing two things at the same time for the same result, but two different actions at two different times for the purpose of getting two different results. Similarly, here, why not we accept a combination that jnana will give moksha here in this life and other karmas like Agnihotra will give Swarga Prapti later for the same person when done at different times? I repeat, this is the question of Purva Pakshi. Similarly, here, why not we accept a combination that jnana will give moksha here in this life and other karmas like Agnihotra will give Swarga Prapti later for the same person when done at different times? A moksharthi will not desire for anything else. Therefore, karma is useless. Shankara's answer. Briefly, it was said that karma and jnana could not be performed by the same person because the person who is pursuing Atma Jnana has no desire for the result of karma. I repeat, previously it was said that karma and jnana could not be performed by the same person because the person who is pursuing atmajnana has no desire for the result of karma. If it is suggested that both can be done one after the other, Shankara negates that it is not possible because when the knowledge which has the result of moksha is gained, a desire for the sake of a given result is not tenable. न कैवल्यफले ज्ञाने क्रियाफलार्थित्वानुपपत्तेः. There is no possibility of any other result. This is similar to the gain of the 10th man. Please, please see the story of the 10th man that was shown in the.
Can you repeat the previous para one more time, please?
Yeah. Though karma is not useful in gaining moksha, it is useful for gaining other results and objection. Accepting that knowledge and karma cannot be simultaneously combined for moksha, Apurva Pakshi, an opponent, now asks why they cannot be done consecutively like two different types of action. Suppose a man wants to go to heaven. He performs the appropriate karma, Agnihotra, etc., but at that time he cannot eat. After the Agnihotra, he can eat. But the two actions cannot be done simultaneously by the same agent. The performance of Agnihotra, the ritual, the prayer is meant for going to heaven, and eating is meant for appeasing hunger. One action can be done now and the other later. Similarly, why can you not first gain knowledge, then afterwards do karma? Even though you cannot do them together, you can always do them consecutively. And also, the act of eating, bhuji kriya, is a laukik action and has only drishtaphala and no adrishtaphala. Whereas Agnihotra has the adrishtaphala of heaven. A person who wants both the results has to do both. In this manner, the same person can accomplish two results, the seen result moksha and later the unseen result heaven swarga. He will get both the results. Knowledge will give the immediate result drishtaphala and karma will give the unseen result adrishtaphala. The same person is not doing two things at the same time for the same result, but two different actions at two different times for the purpose of getting two different results. Similarly here, why not accept a combination that jnana will give moksha here in this life and other karmas like Ognihotra will give Swarga Prapti later same person when done at different times. A moksharthi will not desire anything else. Therefore, karma is useless. Shankara's answer. Previously, it was said that and jnana could not be performed by the same person because the person who is pursuing Atma Jnana has no desire for the result of karma. If it is suggested that both can be done one after the other, Shankara negates that it is not possible because when the knowledge which has the result of moksha is gained, a desire for the sake of a given knowledge is not tenable. There is no possibility of any other result. This is similar to the gain of the 10th man. Here too, the knowledge alone is the result. If he is the 10th man and does not recognize it, thinking that there are only 9 because he has failed to count himself, the knowledge that he is the 10th man is the result. This is the discovery of the 10th man. Gaining the 10th man is in the form of knowing the 10th man because he himself is the 10th man. All he requires is to discover I am the 10th man. Knowing that the 10th man is gained. Similarly, when knowledge which has the result of non-duality is gained, a desire for another result or an action which is a means for that is not tenable. Or we can put it this way. Any action implies a certain knowledge of what you are doing, how it is to be done, and why you are doing it. Without knowledge, no one can begin any type of meaningful activity. A Vedic ritual especially, is dependent upon knowledge gained from the Veda. But mere knowledge of the Veda will not give you the result. For that, you have to perform the appropriate karma. Only practice anusthana, which is preceded by knowledge, can produce a result such as heaven or Rajini, etc. Knowing that the Agnihotra ritual produces the result of heaven, and also knowing how to do the ritual does not result in going to heaven without the ritual being performed. Similarly, knowing that Atma is Brahman does not produce moksha. It has to be followed by the enjoined karma. Then you will get moksha. No, this is also not tenable. Why? Because knowledge of Atma is the result. It is immediate drishta. When you gain the knowledge, I am Brahman, that is moksha, and therefore there is no necessity to perform any subsequent action to attain the result of moksha. Whether it is a karma enjoined by the Veda or any other karma, he has no desire to perform it. Why? So we just have to recall the story of the 10th man once that is. So it is a journey from becoming to being. We already know that we are free, but to realize that now it is Shankaraj is proving that once that Atmajnana has taken place, then there will be no further desire for action or karma. Anyone would like to share? Inadequacy is the basis for all desire. All desires come from the sense of inadequacy, which is centered on ignorance. I repeat once again, very important. Inadequacy is the basis for all desires. All desires come from the sense of inadequacy, which is centered on ignorance. That is, they are centered on my notion of myself as inadequate. This sense of inadequacy is not centered on my body or on my mind. Even though the sense is appreciated in the mind, it does not belong to the mind or anything else, but only to I, the doer, karta. The notion that I am inadequate is entirely different from an objective evaluation of inadequacy. Suppose I want to make a shirt for someone who is very big and I find that I do not have enough cloth. Therefore, I say that the cloth is inadequate. That is purely objective. But my sense of my own inadequacy is not exactly like my appreciation of the inadequacy of the amount of the cloth I have. It has nothing to do with anything objective like my body or my mind. The body does not have the sense of inadequacy, nor does the mind. It is not about anything. It is centered on myself, on my notion of I. Therefore, I am inadequate is the problem. This is negated by the Shastra, which says that I is complete, Purna. It is Param Brahma and therefore limitless. When that is known, where is the sense of inadequacy? It is inadequacy that is the basis for all my desires. Thinking that by doing a certain thing, I will get a certain result and thereby be somebody more acceptable than I am now. These kinds of binding desires stem from ignorance of Atma being full, and once Atma is appreciated as full, they cannot be there. One may have a simple desire to do something just because one is capable of it as an expression of the Lord's glory, vibhuti. But that has nothing to do with the sense of desire which is born of inadequacy. That kind of desire is what is discussed here. It will not be there for the one who has gained the knowledge, which has moksha as its result. What would he get out of it? There cannot be any desire to improve the self because it is full. Shankara gives an example which we also saw in the second chapter. कैवल्य फले ही ज्ञाने प्राप्ते सर्वतः संप्लतोदके phale. Kindly correct me if I'm pronouncing it wrong. कैवल्य फले ही ज्ञाने प्राप्ते सर्वतः संप्लतोदके phale. कूप तडागादि क्रिया फलार्थित्व अभाववत् फलांतरे तत्साधनभूतायां वा क्रियायाम् अर्थित्वानुपपत्तिः. I read once again.
Then that
Kaivalya
is second, next comes. Only Gita 2.46 is second chapter. The other is second, that will come in the next para.
I'm correct.
Okay, no problem, no problem.
Thank for bringing it to the attention. Yeah, I'm sorry. I read once again. What should he get out of it? There cannot be any desire to improve the self because it is full. Shankara gives an example, which we also saw in the second chapter of the verse 46. So that alpagnya aham kinchidagnya, that remains until we know that we are full. Once we know the Atma, which is nothing but Brahman, which is infinite, which is Purna, then that feeling of inadequacy doesn't remain. But that feeling of inadequacy is the basis of all the desires in samsara. If you want me to repeat anything, please let me know. I just want to read that verse 46 of chapter 2. यावानर्थ उदपाने सर्वतः संप्लुतोदके तावान् सर्वेषु वेदेषु ब्राह्मणस्य विजानतः. To the Brahmana who has known the self, all the Vedas are of as much use as is a reservoir of water in a place where there is flood everywhere. So very beautiful. May I request Sumaji to take over if she can in 5 minutes, please? Sumaji, I have shared the text today.
I can read, but I'm not able to open my download. So if you project, I will continue to.
Okay, no problem.
Can you project? I'll read.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yeah, very clear. Dhanyavada.
Yeah. So I'll read from here. There cannot be any desire to improve the self because self itself is full.
Yeah, unless anyone
The whole thing is gone.
I think you are muted, Sumaji. Are you there? We cannot hear you. Hari Om. Yeah, I'll continue to read till she comes back. Sumaji, Hari Om, are you there? Yeah. There cannot be any desire to improve the self because it is full. Suppose you pray for rain and the rain comes in such a cascade that it floods everything. When every place is filled with water, no one has a desire for a well or a pond. In India, we have these survivors' wells which are dug in the river when the river is dry. It is a common thing in the summer. When the rain comes, the river is full of water. There is water everywhere. In fact, even the banks are broken. Everywhere it is flooded. Now, what is the use of that well? When the person who wants water finds water everywhere, how will he desire a well or a pond? He has achieved the result of his prayer.
I can
Now,
read now.
yeah, I
I'm
will just
sorry.
read.
I got,
Yeah, no
You
problem.
finish. Yeah, you finish.
कैवल्य फले हि ज्ञाने प्राप्ते सर्वतः संप्लतोदके फले कूपतडागादिक्रिया फलार्थित्व अभाववत फलांतरे तत्साधनभूतायां वा क्रियायाम् अर्थित्वानुपपत्तिः. That is from Shankara Bhasya. So beautiful. Similarly here, yeah, please read. Continue, Maji.
Thank you. Similarly, here, when the knowledge gained is that I am Param Brahma and nothing is apart from that Param Brahma, it means that all the worlds, including Brahmaloka, are included in that gain. Even if I were to go to Brahmaloka, the gain is limited because then I would not have the advantage of being here. There is Brahmaloka, there is no cricket, football, baseball, or tennis. The gain of Brahmaloka will exclude all the gain that I would have in other worlds. But the gain of Brahman, being everything, includes all the 14 worlds, 7 above and 7 below. There cannot be a desire for any other gain. After knowledge, what karma would one do to gain what? When he is Brahman, what is he going to get? Even as one who is seeking this knowledge, a jignasu, he is seeking a freedom that he knows includes dharma, artha, and kama. All three are included in this desired end, moksha. So in moksha, you get everything, includes dharma, artha, and kama. Therefore, he is not going to desire any other small thing. He is interested in only one thing, and that one thing includes everything. He recognizes that his problem is the notion that I am wanting, and he addresses that directly. He is not trying to appease this wanting fellow. That is what we call samsara, and it never ends. Did anybody ever solve the problem of appeasement? Never. Appeasement never ends. The more you appease your demand, the more it increases. Neither in management will it work, nor in life. Appeasement just buys some time, but it will not be long before there is another demand. The one who knows he is Brahman, however, has no need of appeasement. He is full. Shankara gives another example here. Supposing there is a person who is engaged in an activity to gain a new kingdom. Does he also engage in another activity to gain a few acres within that kingdom? The one who is interested in moksha is interested in a limitless kingdom, one which has no boundaries whatsoever. This boundary-free kingdom called Brahman is also called the empire of the self, Atma Samrajya. For the one who wants to gain this limitless, boundless empire of the self, where is the interest in gaining heaven or progeny or some security? It is meaningless. When a person is interested in mining all the gold in his gold mine, he is not interested in bartering the mine for one sovereign. Just as the one who is seeking a kingdom will not have any desire for a few acres of land within it. The one who knows or want to know that he is Brahman will not have a desire for anything else. So the one who knows or want to know that he is Brahman will not have a desire for anything else, for there is nothing that is not Brahman. Could you raise the page, please? Yeah, thank you. Therefore, alone or combined, karma is not a means for moksha. Therefore, karma alone or combined is not a means for moksha. Karma that is talked about here refers to the karma enjoined by the Veda. When this is the status of Vaidika karma as a means for moksha, what is the status of any other karma as means for moksha? Karma of any kind does not have the status of being a means for moksha.
I'll just read the footnote.
The
Tasmat na
Hindi
karmana the second one, the footnote I'm reading. Tasmat
Yeah.
na karmana asti nishreyasa sadhanatvam न च ज्ञानकर्मणोः समुच्चितयोः न अपि ज्ञानस्य कैवल्यफलस्य कर्मसाहाय्यापेक्षा avidya nivartakatvena virodhat.
Nor
Are
does
you
karma
able to see-
come. Yeah?
Are you able to see the full page if I put like
Yeah.
this?
Yeah. If you can increase the font little
Yeah,
bit,
okay.
this one.
Is it
Nice.
okay?
Yes. Thank you. Nor does karma combine with knowledge, jnana. Some people talk of this kind of combination, a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of karma brought together to produce moksha. They argue, giving the following example to support their contention. They say that mere betel leaf will not turn your tongue red. There must be lime and betel nut along with the betel leaf. Only then the red color will be produced. Similarly, neither mere knowledge nor mere karma will produce moksha. They must be combined. Let us see what will really happen if one does combine them. The karma will produce its result, but that will be adrishtaphala and will not fructify in this birth, but in some other later birth. On the other hand, knowledge gives moksha here and now as drishtaphala. Even if one were to assume that the adrishtaphala of the karma will produce moksha, it will only in some other later life and not in this life. If this is so, that is, if you pursue knowledge, you will get moksha now, in this life itself. And if you pursue karma, you will not get moksha now, but in a later life. Who would be interested in that karma? And perhaps, at the most, since he is doing good karma and has started pursuing knowledge, in the next birth he will be pursuing pure knowledge. Lord Krishna assures us that he will not come to a bad lot and will pick up the thread and continue in the next birth. Nahi kalyanakrit kaschit durgatim tata gacchati. Further knowledge, which has moksha as its result, does not require any assistance from karma. It is true that the mere knowledge of the means for gaining heaven will not give heaven, and karma also, if it is done without the know-how, cannot produce the proper result. Only if the karma is backed by knowledge and then practiced, the desired result will be gained. Can you please raise the page? Yeah, thank you. But when moksha is the result, it is not like that. Knowledge does not require the help of karma because knowledge itself is moksha. An argument is made that if one person is trying to lift something and another person comes and helps, the lifting becomes definitely easier. Or even though moksha is gained by knowledge, perhaps karma will make it easier. We negate both these possibilities and say no knowledge does not combine with karma at all in any manner. There is no combination because one is born of a means of knowledge and is centered on the object to be known, Vastu Tantra, while the other, karma, depends entirely upon the will of the person, Purusha Tantra. Knowledge is going to be as true as the object. What does karma come into? Where does karma come into the picture? Jnana and karma are opposed. They cannot be combined. Moreover, knowledge is totally opposed to karma. What does knowledge do? It removes ignorance, the very ignorance that is necessary for karma. Once knowledge has removed the cause of karma, how are you going to do karma again? Karma implies a doer. What does knowledge do? First, it destroys the notion I am the doer. When that is gone, who is going to do karma and for what? Only when the sense of agency is removed, there is moksha, and knowledge alone is sufficient for that. Knowledge is opposed to karma because it removes ignorance, cause of karma. Therefore, knowledge that results in moksha does not require karma. Shall we stop here and have a little manana? So knowledge destroys the notion of the agency, the doer. So when there is no doer, there is no karma. We already got the clarity, no, earlier that neither knowledge nor karma can get you moksha, nor a combination of the two also cannot get you moksha. So this is the explanation as to why that is true. Because karma is born out of ignorance, and as long as there is ignorance, there will be karma. And knowledge is to remove the ignorance and that the doership. So when that is gone, there is no karma. So knowledge alone or karma alone or in combination, both also can't get you moksha. However, karma is essential for the antakarna shuddhi, and in that purified mind, knowledge blossoms. And that final vritti, that recognizing your own nature, that is through that final vritti. That is also a karma only actually, because all thoughts are also action.
And dawning of that knowledge that I am not the doer, then only the knowledge dawns.
Yeah.
And when
As
that
a concept
dawns,
we have that as a concept, but not as
feel it.
reality.
We should feel, though we have done it, it is not we are the doer. Those who see, there is a verse, no? Those who see action
in action and inaction in action.
In action. So that is what it is. And once we know that we are not the doer, then what is the use of karma at all? That is the nicely explained. All very good. So this I am not the doer should come into your head. Until that, your ego will not go. With our ego only, we feel I did this, I did that, I did.
And
So
this thing about feeling the lack, no? Really, the way we communicate or the way we've been taught to communicate, there only we have to correct.
yes.
Instead of saying, I do not have enough material to make this shirt, my sentence should be, there is not enough material to make the shirt. So this I should never come there.
Yeah. I remember Guruji telling, that his mother would not say that it is not there. She will tell you, bring it.
Hmm.
She will not say that it is not there, you bring it. She will not say that.
She'll say there is abundant sugar, we must go get some more.
She will say, you bring it. That's it. She will not say, I don't have it. You bring it. So wonderful. No? So in every this one we have details. We have to go through it.
So our words, we should really
No, that has
measure
to
the words that say it.
that is to imbibe in you. Automatically, it will come. You need not practice it, but it has to imbibe. That knowledge has to imbibe. You are full. You are full.
That's what Gurudev says, If you focus on lack will
increase. Wherever you focus, that increases. If you focus on abundance, abundance increases. And he always quote that Jesus quotation, those who have will be given more, and those who do not have will be taken away. No audio. What's happening?
Nobody's saying anything.
Then you can put that.
Brahmanyanavali or
That would be better.
Nirvana Shatakam.
No, not Nirvana Shatakam. Brahmadnyanavali. It will complete at 9 o'clock.
Okay. I don't know. It went away. The whole thing went away now. Go. Ah, thank you. The whole computer has closed.
Yeah, don't worry, Sumaji, I will put. Kindly say the Shanti mantra so that I can put.
ॐ लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। जय गुरु।
असङ्गोऽहं पुनः पुनः सच्चिदानन्दरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः नित्यशुद्धविमुक्तोऽहम् निराकारोऽहमव्ययः भूमानन्दस्वरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः नित्योऽहं निरवध्योऽहम् निराकारोऽहमच्युतः परमानन्दरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः शुद्धचैतन्यरूपोऽहम् आत्मा रामोऽहमेव च अखण्डानन्दरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः प्रत्यक्षचैतन्यरूपोऽहम् शान्तोऽहं प्रकृतेः परः शाश्वतानन्दरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः तत्त्वातीतपरात्माहम् मध्यातीतः परशिवः मायातीतपरञ्ज्योतिः अहमेवाहमव्ययः नानारूपव्यतीतोऽहम् चिदाकारोऽहमच्युतः सुखरूपस्वरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः माया तत्कार्यदेहादि मम नास्त्येव सर्वदा स्वप्रकाशैकरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः गुणत्रयव्यतीतोऽहम् ब्रह्मादीनां च साक्ष्यहम् अनन्तानन्दरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः अन्तर्ज्योतिस्वरूपोऽहम् कूटस्थः सर्वगोऽस्म्यहम् सर्वसाक्षिस्वरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः द्वन्द्वादिसाक्षिरूपोऽहम् अचलोऽहं सनातनः सर्वसाक्षिस्वरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः प्रज्ञानघन एवाहम् विज्ञानघन एव च अकर्ताहम् अभोक्ताहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः निराधारस्वरूपोऽहम् सर्वाधारोऽहमेव च आप्तकामस्वरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः तापत्रयविनिर्मुक्तः देहत्रयविलक्षणः अवस्थात्रयसाक्ष्यस्मि अहमेवाहमव्ययः दृग्दृश्यौ द्वौ पदार्थौ स्तः परस्परविलक्षणौ दृग्ब्रह्मदृश्यं मायेति सर्ववेदान्तडिण्डिमः अहं साक्षीति यो वियात् विविच्यैवं पुनः पुनः स एव मुक्तः स विद्वान् इति वेदान्तडिण्डिमः घटकुड्यादिकं सर्वं मृत्तिकामात्रमेव च तद्वद्ब्रह्म जगत् सर्वम् इति वेदान्तडिण्डिमः ब्रह्म सत्यं जगन्मिथ्या जीवो ब्रह्मैव नापरः अनेन वेद्यं सच्छास्त्रम् इति वेदान्तडिण्डिमः अन्तर्ज्योति बहिर्ज्योतिः प्रत्यग्ज्योतिः परात्परः ज्योतिज्योति स्वयं ज्योतिः आत्मज्योतिशिवोऽस्म्यहम् ज्योतिज्योति स्वयं ज्योतिः आत्मज्योतिशिवोऽस्म्यहम्